Hello and welcome to today's news on Vanguard Life. My name is Damlola Ogunshaki, and today we begin today's show on a somber note. Portuguese footballer Diego Jota and his brother reportedly died this morning. Details surrounding the incident are still emerging, but tributes have already begun pouring in from fans, clubs, and fellow players around the world. Jota, known for his brilliance on the pitch and his fighting spirit, was more than a player. He was an inspiration to many. So we send our heartfelt condolence to the Jota family, the Portuguese football communities, and supporters everywhere during this incredibly difficult time. May his soul rest in peace. Now let's move straight to the front pages of the daily, starting with Vanguard. Vanguard leading story says 2027 Atiku, Obi, Amaechi, El-Rufai, others take over ADC. Kachiko, NWC member, all the stakeholders kick over party takeover. ADC chairman, security resigned for David Mark, Aregweshola. Tinubu fiddling while Nigeria burns. That's coming from Mark. Adds a renewed hope has turned renewed hopelessness. Coalition in talks with some northern governors, that's according to source. Why I resigned from APC, Amaechi adds Nigeria is destroyed. PDP wants defectors. I support coalition but will remain in PDP. That's according to Lamido. Adeleke not joining coalition of Osun PDP chair. You can see that story on page 5. Emergence of coalition has made APC stronger. That's coming from Keyamo. And that's a special story also. Here we have a picture showing Mr. Peter Obi, and we have Ogbeni Raouf Aragbeshola, interim chairman, Senator David Mark, immediate past chairman of ADC, Mr. Raf Wosu, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, Mr. Rosimi Amaechi, and Malam Nasir El-Rufai at the Musa Yar'Adua Center yesterday when the coalition moved into the African Democratic Congress ADC. Now on page 9, hunger, inflation, falling insecurity. Methodist prelate tells Tinubu falling insecurity. Methodist prelate tells Tinubu budget. IMF tells federal government. You can see that on page 19. Man and DG to federal government sell Warri Port Harcourt refineries. Others now. Senate to CBN on page 10. Your policies have improved economy. And that's all we have on the front page of the Vanguard newspaper. Away from that, we'll move to the Guardian. The Guardian leading story says anxiety over PDP's future as ADC excites aggrieved politicians. Nigeria's oil sector sees a fresh $18.2 billion investment. Shell hints at $8 billion FID. News page 4 hours the story. Mokwa flood. Lawmakers warn of disease outbreak in Niger. Federal government raises concern over 75% desertification in northern states. PDP trenches sanctions on members the marketing party. National Assembly faces gridlocks as reps halt consideration of Senate bills. And lastly, on the Guardian newspaper, OT Delegation Coalition, APC as Okechukwu wants Nigerians of political works. You can see that on the news page 4. Now let's move to the Punch newspaper. The Punch leading story says 2027 election, Atiku will be Mark launch ADC to unseat Tinubu. Over 20 ex-governors, ex-APC, PDP bigwigs, Warri's ministers joined coalition. ADC function rejects a takeover. You can see that on page 2. United States jails France-based Nigerian 41 months for $8 million fraud. Reps seek emergency relief for Niger Kwara flood victims. You can see that on page 14. And lastly, on the front page of the Punch newspaper, the top right corner, we have Nigeria must review 2025 budget to avert crisis. IMF ones. You can see that on page 21. Away from that, we'll move to the nation. And the nation is leading with Mark Aregbesola take over ADC sparks chairman's anger. Inside that same story, we have ex-presidential candidate Kachiku disowns Atiku, other opposition forces. Oti dismisses himself from anti-Tinubu alliance. Defectors will rush back to PDP, says Damagum. Wike, they are aspired politicians. They also take over of ADC. The analysis is inside the Nation newspaper on pages 2 and 4. Nigerian professionals for Caribbean. President meets a Nigerian community in St. Lucia. You can see that story on page 4. Nigeria, United Nations Capital Development Fund to sign interest-free loans are packed. You can see that on page 5. And lastly, on the Nation newspaper, Ogboji killings, Anambra Ebonyi government wants perpetrators brought to justice. You can see that on page 5 of the Nation newspaper. And that's what we have on the front pages of the dailies. Join us after the break for a brief analysis of some of this stuff. Welcome back. If you're just joining me, this is Today the News of Manga Life. My name is Damlola Ogunshaki, and joining me to analyze some of the stories on the front pages this morning is Mr. Oluda. Welcome back. If your name is Damlola Ogunshaki, and joining me to analyze some of the stories on Mayowa. Publishing.
Good to be here today.
Thank you for joining us. That a formidable lineup: Atiku, Peter Obi, El-Rufai, Amaechi, and others formally took over ADC to challenge Tinubu in 2027. Now, from your view, how significant is this coalition in Nigeria's political landscape?
Well, thank you very much. First of all, I just look at it. It showed the dynamism of Nigerian political climate. Really, in the sense of, number one, the bulk of the people that joined the party are derived from PDP, APC, Obi from Labour Party, so to say. And when you look at the congregation, Atiku has been very constant figure in the Nigerian political system right from 1993. 1999 was deputy for Passenger and the rest. So they are not new faces in the politics, and they are being in and out of government. And what do you expect people like that? They want to go back to take power back from the APC. Well, we are going to wait to see what to make of their coming together. Now, most of them have never worked together. So when they have worked together, the same party, Obi and Atiku have worked together before. Was vice president candidate for Obi as the president election. Amaechi, for example, has worked to Atiku in APC, and El-Rufai worked to Atiku in PDP. Same to Billy Mark and the rest of them. So they seem to have some level of leadership. So we are going to wait to see what more. But I'm very certain that it's going to be very difficult for anybody to come to remove the sitting president of Nigeria. Yes, it has happened before, but it's going to be very difficult this time around. They have to work very hard and have to really push their position very hard to the people. That's my own personal opinion, really.
But so far, there's no consensus on who will lead the ticket. That Atiku will be El-Rufai. So how will the absence of a clear presidential candidate affect their 2027 prospect?
No, at this stage, you don't expect them to say, "Oh, this is going to be a presidential candidate." That would have been just putting fuel into the fire already. So they have to, before the first thing they do is to come together to agree that they're not going to work with PDP, they're not going to work with the APC, they're going to work with the new. But that's why they bought over ADC to serve as their very, very good to conduct the election. The subsequent process is going to conduct a convention, conduct primary to actually choose a president candidate for them. And that is where you are going to see the genuineness of their commitment to the cause of effort to remove or to stage President Tinubu for power. Because at that stage now, you see the realignment of forces. But once, don't forget that Atiku was a president candidate at the last election. Obi was a candidate for the last president election. and there are going to be one or two of them that are going to show their face to contest to be choosing as the candidate of the party. The ability to resolve the crisis that come out of the primary and to realign their position behind whoever emerges as their candidate will determine how far they will go in the coming election.
Yeah, but this takeover was met with oppositions from Dumebi, and some ADC members branding it as a backdoor hijack. So, how might this internal dispute impact the credibility and grassroots strength of the coalition? Because also, if you could remember, this same internal dispute is what affected the Labour Party.
So, when you look at what happened yesterday, prior to yesterday announcement of ADC, is what you call outside takeover in corporate words. The group hijacked the system, and I know that something must have changed hands. There have been some level of negotiations, concession, compromise, and the rest. Definitely a hostile takeover. Not everyone in ADC will agree with what happened yesterday. But unfortunately, those people may not have the capacity to challenge or to cause some dent in the stability of the party going forward. They must have done their own work before they choose this. Don't forget they submitted that appeal to INEC to register ADA, what they call their own. But they have to say that because creating a system without a platform, without a structure, is very difficult for them. By taking over ADC, they have for some level of structure in place. They have a president candidate at the last election, so it will be easy for them to actually move on to the next level. So what will happen? Those who are objecting to the existing member of the ADC, they may not have any choice but to move out. Probably people are joined to align with the other party. They may not be able to cause any major crisis in the party because there's a mass, what you call hostile takeover in a corporate world, and they are already fully entrenched themselves in the party.
Oh, well, they are branding this coalition as a mission to rescue democracy and also counter a drift towards one party rule. Is this narrative compelling enough to galvanize, voters?
I think they have to prove that in going forward in their communication to the public. They have to prove that they are actually different from APC. They're actually different from where they are coming from. They're actually different from PDP or APC, because most of them are being APC. Atiku was in APC actually, was founding member of APC. Amaechi was a founding member of APC. El-Rufai was a founding member of APC. So they have to prove to the world that they are not different from what we are having today. It's no politician. Either way, they are just looking for vehicle to transport them to the state part to grab power. They are like I regard it as one different side of the coins. They are all the same, really. But they have to prove to the electorate in their electorates, in their electorates, in their regard it as one one. Really. But they have to in their electorates, in their and manifesto, and they have to prove that they are better than the APC where they are trying to steal from the power. But I can tell you that most of them you are being power. Look at David Mark, for example. He was Senate president for 3 times or so. What major achievement can you attribute to him? El-Rufai was in Kaduna, for example, and there was massive killing in the southern Kaduna. He couldn't do anything about it. And some people actually probably trying to accuse him of probably conspiracy in that arena. I'm not sure. But what did he do? What was his impact? What was the dynamism of his operation in Kaduna? Same for Amaechi, so it's it's there here and there. So, but like I said, through their communication, through their activities, through their manifesto, they will prove to the Nigerian who is the final arbiter who could determine their fate during the election. Either they are different or they are the same of the same.
So, what do you think should be their top priority in the next 6 months in order to build legitimacy and momentum?
I think they should talk to Nigeria directly, go to the grassroots, go to the youth, go to the people who have been discontented with the present system. Tell us what you are going to do about fuel, the petroleum industry, for example, the foreign exchange, for example, inflation, how we tend to bring inflation down. What are you going to do different from what this person are doing? These are the things that could resonate with people. Tell us what you are going to do different in terms of management of the economy, in terms of management in terms of fighting corruption, because corruption is very deep, in terms of fighting insecurity across the country. What are those things you are going to do different? What are the structures you are going to put in place? What are the new things you are going to bring on board to ensure that Nigerians who are suffering today, who are suffering high cost of living, are going to find a relief? These are the should be their talking points to the people, and they have to do it convincingly. They have to show the evidence or the blueprints they are going to deploy to address the issue. Otherwise, nobody will buy their campaign or buy their but as long as they are able to present a sensible manifesto to the people and convince people that they are different, that would be the composition of their leadership in the ADC, their campaign mechanism, the process of even electing their own candidate will justify that they are in for good things, but they are not different from the same thing. Because if, for example, during the primary election, there's acrimony, there's buying of delegates, throwing money around to who delegate to vote for one person, people regard it as no different. So because that's what is thing we are used to in the political processes. So they have to do much more to convince people that they are different. They are better than the one they want to obtain.
Let's move away from that. The Director General of the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria has urged the government to fully privatize the Warri, Port Harcourt, Kaduna refineries, calling them a pure drain on the economy. What's your take on this, and what does it reveal about the current crisis in our refining sector?
I can't agree with him less, because don't forget that before Barcelona left government, he sold those refineries to Dangote. If Iradu has allowed that sales to stay, by now we would have it turned around in local fuel supply and be able to supply the western coast, the West African country and part of African country. But they aborted the sales because after solving, because each year from generation to generation we have been seeing one government that is spending so billions of dollars in rehabilitating the refineries. But we have not seen any result. People have been paying salary to maintain obsolete machine. And same thing, like during the Warri, they had to go and borrow money to fix the refinery. But within 3 months of the relaunching of the plant, we are back to square one. So I believe that at this stage of it, government should set up a pro panel to actually find out what was wrong, where those money spent on those refineries went to. And we need to actually, for me, it's better that the government should agree that they have failed in that because they don't have any business. Sell the refinery for scrap. Whoever want to buy it, want to revive it, let private sector take over the whole place. And if they can revive it, good. If they cannot, let government stop spending scarce resources on revamping the refinery. It has not worked, and I don't think it's ever going to work. Pastor just said that categorically. Even when the NPC under Kyari said, yes, they are going to do it. Pastor said that he doesn't believe that thing is going to work. And it was good right. Within short period, the pay was shut down. So I think government should stop spending money, wasting Nigerian resources on those obsolete machines, and just sow the place for scrap or whatever, and let us move on.
Well, it seems some experts also they've agreed that they should sell the refinery and invest the proceeds in modular refineries. What do you think about this?
I think, like I said, that's the same thing we are saying here. The refinery has become a dream pipe. Have become a dream pipe for politicians to steal money from the government. And you can imagine the people who have been prosecuted by or investigated by the FDFC over the what are called Warri and Kaduna refineries, how they stole billions of dollars from the money allocated to fix the place. So if people keep stealing money to attempt to revamp this place, is it not right for us to scrap, sell, and forget and government move to invest in so many other places? but we are seeing billions going down the drain. And this money have ended up in the pockets of officials or the government, politicians, National Assembly members, presidency officials, NNPC officials. No, these have been our experience from ages past. So let the government set up the place and stop wasting Nigerian resources on that plant.
Well, Nigeria must review 2025 budget to avert crisis, and that's what IFM has, warned about. So, what do you think about this?
IMF is right. From beginning, from the get-go, the budget was a disaster waiting to happen. We are projecting 2 million barrels per day for oil estimation for the budget. We are not going beyond 1.6, 1.7 barrel. So we actually have gap. So we cannot meet even revenue to support the budget. Secondly, we project $75 per barrel for the oil. Yes, dollar have moved forward because of the Iran-Israel war and the rest. But the price is coming down to 60, above $50 per barrel. So again, there's shortfall in expected income from oil revenue. And so the government is expected to heavily borrow to support it. And building up the previous debt stock of the country is not viable. And you don't need the IMF to tell us that we should need to review the budget. And most of the project, the content of the budget were frivolity. You are seeing National Assembly padded the budget, want to do one street light for billions of naira. You know that these are padded, these are the exaggerated costs. These are things that is loaded with corruptions, with manipulations. And we don't need anybody to tell us that if the government is sincere, they need to overhaul the budget, they need to review the budget and make it a realistic budget that can be managed to implement. Not this one that they are just putting budget that could not be, they cannot fund, they cannot find money to fund. Nobody will borrow Nigerian money to fund such projects that are ridiculous. Even the Lagos Calabar Coastal region, we have been told that they are not able to get finance to fund the project. So while we set up a budget, we know we cannot provide a cash back for the project inside of it. Apart from the padded project that are exaggerated costs, you are buying SUV for probably 1 billion for one. What for? So government, we don't need IMF to tell us to please take a holistic review of the budget and cut it to size, manageable size that we can fund, that we can implement.
All right, let's send this on a lighter note with Mr. and Mrs. this morning. And the first person speaking today is Mrs. Mrs. says, food is ready. And Mr. replied, come on, that's like backing an order. Can't you be a bit romantic? Mrs. replied, okay, I'll be back. In 2 hours, let me go and read some poems.
Wow. That will kill him, yeah, I'm going to go to kitchen and go and carry food as I eat. If I eat for something that is not good, there is no loss. So that will just kill it. But it's good. It's a nice, just to put loss in
their Yes. All right. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having me today and happy holiday.
And you too. And this is where we have to draw the curtain today. My name is Damlola Okunshakin. Do what to like and follow us on all our social media platforms. Show it all your screen. You can also visit our website, www.vanguardngr.com. Have a lovely